той използва, след което тази информация да се
Hello everyone, this is Dancho. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Although it took a while to prepare and come up with this video, I sincerely hope that the research and analysis that I will discuss and present in this video will be relevant and useful to you. So I'll begin by making a brief introduction into who I am and what I'm up to. My name is Dancho Danchev. I'm a 4-year social security blogger, also international intelligence agent from Bulgaria. I'm currently running one of the security industry's most popular security publications, which is my personal blog, Dancho Danchev, blog my information security knowledge. I've been running my publication since December 2005, and throughout this I had an average of 7,000 RSS feed subscribers, including 5.6 million page views throughout the years, making my blog an extremely important blog to the world of security blogging, also research analysis, tech intelligence access, and most importantly, cybercrime fighting, research and analysis. Among my key accomplishments include the production of the popular Astro Research Security newsletter throughout the period 2003-2006, including the takedown of the coup-page botnet, including participation in a top-secret GCH program called Lovely Horse, including regular appearance in major news publications for interview and expert opinion, including Tech Meme, DDNet, CNN, PC World, SC Magazine, The Register, and New York Times, CNET Computer World, and regular security and research presentation appearances at major security events, such as for instance InfoSec Europe, RSA Europe, and CyberCamp. I'm an internationally recognized expert in the field of cybercrime fighting and threat intelligence gathering, having actually pioneered my own methodology for processing threat intelligence, which leads to a successful set of hundreds of high-quality analysis and research articles published in the industry's leading threat intelligence blog, Zenia's zero-day blog, down to branch of information security knowledge, and a bullshit blog with my research featured in various mainstream news portals. The most important, I'm continuing to produce actionable threat intelligence as one of the industry's leading threat intelligence gathering publications, which is my personal blog, Dancho Danchev, my information security knowledge. In this video, I will discuss in depth and offer factual examples into how I track down and expose the Conti Ransomware gang, which currently has over $10 million reward part of the Reward for Justice program. And we offer practical examples in a demonstration of the basics of real-time working, including processing and enrichment of the technically collected information and details on the cyber criminals in question. In my video, I will draw an elaboration into all the research efforts I have been putting into identifying core members of the Conti Ransomware gang, including their recently leaked internal communication, including to use exclusive OSINT for the purpose of successful identifying key core members of a diversified cybercrime gang that has a pretty interesting career for distributing their fraudulently obtained income in the context of sponsor income, participating in fashion shows, and educational, including sponsorship efforts and campaigns on the Russian market, supposedly using the stolen income that they have obtained using their ransomware tactics and techniques. What I came up with the following: the private C6 music label, where we got some of the Conti Ransomware guys doing their advertising creative and brokers doing their hardcore upcoming ransomware brand release, including several fashion component brands, where once again have 4 members of the Conti Ransomware gang doing their advertising and brochure creative. The primary goal behind this video analysis will be to elaborate as to the diverse nature of the members of the Conti Ransomware gang in the context of having them involved in fashion, music, and teaching schools, business and charitable initiatives, in relation support using the stolen income, which they obtain using their ransomware operation online. It's also worth pointing out that this entire analysis, including the hosting analysis and the hosting research and analysis, entirely based on the Conti Ransomware gang's internal leak communication, and is done exclusively by me with some quite positive and confirmed results already. I will start by emphasizing on the exact steps which I undertook to process and analyze and research, and offer an in-depth analysis into how I enrich and process information, equal to some pretty successful and relevant analysis and conclusion on the topic of who's behind the Conti Ransomware gang's marketing and advertising department. meaning that in this specific context, the individuals that are profiling discussed in this video are directly involved with the Conti Ransomware gang and are actively busy producing their advertising and marketing material for their current and upcoming ransomware brands, including a diversified portfolio of Russia-based companies that appear to have been involved with the Conti Ransomware gang, in a way by possibly having the Conti Ransomware gang working with these companies and individuals by investing in their companies and businesses on their way to diversify their portfolio prior to obtain financial assets. One of the most important things to consider when doing real-time hosting is that you should do your best, you should do it as a work in practice, where the ultimate goal would be to build situation awareness on the issue in question, and to try to collect and preserve for posting analysis and research and enrichment as much technical information as possible. Among the first steps that I undertook to obtain access to the technically correct information, which I later on processed and initially analyzed to come up with my conclusion and research and analysis in chronological order, can be best described as, for instance, the first thing that I did was I picked up the Conti Ransomware gang's communication that leaked online, and I considered it a treasure trove. I quickly used my real-time hosting methodology to pick up the leak and obtain I aim to obtain offline access to it before it disappeared online for research purposes. I then proceeded and began data mining the leak communication, looking for emails, domains, IPs, and URLs with quite a lot of success. My primary purpose here was to obtain this information from the leak information and then work with it to enrich and find out who's behind the Conti Ransomware gang. The next thing that I did, I picked up and collected all the email addresses that were referencing in the internal leak communication. I picked up and extracted all the IPs, I picked up and extracted all the domains, I picked up and extracted all the URLs. I then enriched the email addresses using my methodology. I then increased the IPs using my methodology. I then enriched the domains and actively grabbed all the malware that was hosted there for online and research purposes. I then began automatically visiting the extracted URLs, looking for clues, and I came up with some quite interesting screenshots collections, which I then processed and began enriching and working on. I came up with the following results. It appears that the person that's doing the gang's advertising and marketing creative is also doing the advertising and marketing for other organizations and clients. I then processed and began looking for clues and collected all the publicly accessible information on these companies, such as, for instance, several Russian-based fashion brands, including a children's clothes store, including a charity foundation. I also noticed several screenshots that appear to be album covers. And most importantly, they were also part of the course. They were also produced by the same individual that was busy producing the Conti Ransomware gang's members' marketing and advertising creative. There were also screenshots of uncovering ransomware brands and possible phishing template websites. I figured out that based on my research and analysis and the results which I produced, I was definitely up to something, so I considered doing further research on these companies and organizations and actively applying to the Reward for Justice program to find out whether my research and analysis is relevant, evaluate my work in any sort of financial reward, which would help me greatly on my way to do my research and eventually lead to the active research and analysis on the Conti Ransomware gang. In the following attribution analysis, I will aim to provide an in-depth analysis, including an additional set of related comments and elaboration, including never discussed or published before personal identifier or technical information, confirming my original methodology results, where I offer practical relevant hosting research and analysis, and on cyber threat actors which are directly related to the Conti Ransomware gang, in the context of having a Conti Ransomware gang team member that's involved in producing the gang's marketing and advertising creative, who is also involved in producing creative marketing and advertising creative for our clients, companies, and organizations. In my analysis, I also take an in-depth look inside the primary sources which I used to obtain the leaked internal Conti Ransomware gang communication and the process which based on my methodology which I undertook. I use the process which I use for data mining, the internal leak communication, publicly accessible internal leak communication, which resulted in produced some quite remarkable mirror discussed and published for personal identifiable information results on some of the key activities of the Conti Ransomware gang in the spirit of some of their upcoming brands and advertising marketing creative activities. I will also go in depth and further elaborate and verify some of my previous research, which in terms of elaborating in depth on some of the analysis that I did, which includes an exit file analysis based on some of the internal leak screenshots and net marketing and advertising created for the gang, which are obtained by first obtaining access to their publicly accessible internal leak communication, and then using my methodology, data mine process, and use the internal leak communication with a lot of success and a lot of positive results in terms of offering the big picture and an additional set of personal identifiable information for some of the upcoming brands, which also include various related activities that they're involved in, such as, for instance, a Russia-based rap and hip-hop recording studio initiatives, a children's online clothing store, including several Russia-based fashion brands, including a charity foundation, where I did my best to collect the necessary details behind these individuals using my methodology, including based on research and analysis. Okay, so what I will do now is the following. I will present one of my first research on the topic, some of the key summary points. So here's what we get is very simple. Based on my analysis, I obtained all the key screenshots and images courtesy of the Conti Ransomware gang, which I obtained by data mining for all the relevant and necessary URLs based on the internal communication. And I found out the following, which is basically a screenshot compilation which I processed and enriched. What I found out was the following. In this analysis, besides elaborating in a more in-depth fashion in terms of my methodology and the personal identifiable information which I provided, based on my original analysis, I also did an exit analysis on the obtained screenshots and images. I can easily say that with a lot of success that there is a connect the dots moment, which I'll do my best to elaborate and offer an in-depth analysis in terms of attributing these screenshots to the same rap and hip-hop recording studio, which I previously elaborated on in terms of connecting the dots and offering in-depth personal identifiable information on the individuals behind it, which I believe are directly involved and connected to the Conti Ransomware gang, in terms of having a Conti Ransomware gang member that's producing the gang's marketing and advertising creative. That's also doing the same for various other clients. Key summary points here include that we have the same exact individual that's hosting the entire Conti Ransomware against marketing and advertising compilation. That's also hosting the entire Conti Ransomware against marketing and advertising compilation. Is also doing. Is also a member of Russia-based plastic rap and hip-hop recording studio, producing who is producing the Conti Ransomware against marketing and advertising creative, including members of their own marketing and advertising creative team, which is their own marketing and advertising creative team, V8 Digital, who are also busy producing marketing and advertising creative for the Conti Ransomware gang. So what we got here is a very decent example of the Conti leaks, and Conti leaks was basically an event in a moment in time where someone apparently managed to obtain access to their internal leak communication, and then they posted it and it was made publicly accessible. And once it was made publicly accessible, the first thing that I did using my real-time OSINT methodology would be to quickly grab copies of this communication with the idea to make sure that it doesn't go offline, and start working in terms of processing, analyzing, and enriching it. So what I got here was the following. My actual exit analysis on the leaked internal communication in terms of the advertising and marketing creative screenshots was done at a later stage, which was pretty interesting because it actually confirmed my initial findings that the Conti Ransomware gang team members are actually having the advertising marketing creative produced by Russian rap and hip hop recording studio, and the same Russia-based rap and hip hop recording studio was also busy producing advertising creative for other clients. Once again, for the Conti Ransomware gang team members. So what we got here is my initial analysis. What you can see here are the actual internal leaked communication URLs that I managed to process based on the internal leaked communication, which produced some pretty interesting results, such as, for instance, we got some interesting results with or without the exif analysis, which I did at a later stage, which proves that the gang is actively involved in distributing malicious software, and that they're trying to diversify their format to obtain income into a variety of personal charitable foundations, children clothes store, including we have the Russia-based rap and hip hop studio Plastica, which is involved in producing the advertising creative. What I did in my analysis, I included basically all the screenshots that I obtained using their internal communication, which produced some quite interesting and relevant results. Although this is not necessarily the best approach to the properly use analysis, I decided to do a negative analysis as a last case resort in terms of trying to figure out additional details on the Conti Ransomware again. I did it with some quite positive results, so you can clearly see, which you can clearly see in my analysis, that the Russian-based rap and hip hop recording studio is actually busy producing Conti Ransomware against marketing and advertising creative. Something else that I want to emphasize on is that based on my research and analysis, the photo obtained using public sources based on the gang's internal communication from a cover of a Russian rap and hip hop artist and his album Personality belongs to the Russian rap and hip hop artist known as Linkville, where we have members of the Conti Ransomware gang producing their voice and advertising creative part of their portfolio. We actually have the members of their recording of the Russia-based rap and hip hop recording studio that are busy working with the Conti Ransomware gang team members, which means that they know each other in a way and that they work together in a way. So what we have here is original. This is the original Conti Ransomware gang units obtained by data mining their internal leaked communication. And what we have here is the original image, which I managed to reproduce and find out from the original Russian music artist Sai, who is known as Nikita Zhelinu, whose album covers has been produced by the Plastica Russian-based rap and hip hop recording studio. So what we have here is a fairly simple analysis. So this is the original Conti Ransomware gang internal leaked images that are obtained by data mining their publicly accessible internal leaked communication. And here we have the original Russian music artist Sai album cover, who is done by the Plastica Russian-based recording studio, which with or without the actual exif analysis that is based on the screenshot in the internal communication, proves that the individuals behind these recording studios are actively involved with the Conti Ransomware gang team members and are busy in a way producing their advertising marketing creative. This is some pretty interesting analysis that I hope that you will find relevant and interesting. This is the Russia-based rap and hip hop Plastica recording studio, which appears that it's directly involved with the Conti Ransomware gang team members in a way by producing the advertising and marketing creative. What's specifically interesting about the Russia-based rap and hip hop studio is that I managed to identify all the individuals behind the the recording studio. And the most important part is that based on my research and analysis, these individuals either know or these individuals directly work with the Conti Ransomware team members, not just by producing advertising creative, but by actively exchanging information with the Conti Ransomware gang, which means that they know each other in a way, which is great news for this research and analysis. What I will present now is something else, which is something which is also very interesting and relevant. These are the actual URLs which I automatically processed and analyzed by data mining the Conti Ransomware gang's internal leak communication, which is something very interesting because, as you can see, these are the actual download locations for the malicious software, which is quite interesting. So the first thing that I did when I obtained access to the URLs by data mining the internal leak communication was to attempt to grab all the relevant malicious software samples and attempt to later on process and analyze them, which was great news, as some of these URLs, the actual malicious software hosted on them were active, which is very interesting, which is also very important. And these are the actual domains that were referenced in their communication. These are some of the Bitcoin addresses. This is the Bitcoin addresses that were involved in their transactions. This is part of my bigger analysis on the topic, which quite interesting, which you can easily grab and get a better and more interesting technical perspective on the topic. So what I'll present now is a much more in-depth overview of all the brands that were referenced in the internal Conti Ransomware gang publicly accessible information. Here we have a sample Conti Ransomware gang image obtained using public sources based on the gang's internal communication for a cover operation rap and hip hop artist and his album personality, apparently produced by the Conti Ransomware team members, responsible for the advertising creative development for the gang. So what we have here is that based on my research and analysis, the photo obtained using public sources based on the gang's internal communication for a cover operation rap and hip hop artist and his album personality belongs to the Russian rap and hip hop artist known as Linkfield. Once I managed to figure out, once I managed to obtain this information using publicly accessible source only, I then processed and established a direct connection between the individual whose album was part of the Conti Ransomware gang's internal communication with the Russian rap and hip hop artist known as Linkfield, whose album personality was obtained using public source and appears to have been produced by members of the Conti Ransomware gang. Most importantly, we also have the same Russian rap and hip hop artist that's also part of the Plastic Russia-based rap and hip hop recording studio. So what I did was the following: I processed all the information based on this studio, and I continued doing it with several more interesting screenshots, once again produced by the same Russian rap and hip hop studio. Here we have another sample Conti Ransomware gang image obtained using public sources based on the gang internal communication, and it appears that the same individual that's referenced by the Conti Ransomware gang in the internal communication is known as Ice Koster, who is also Russia-based rap and hip hop artist, who is not surprised, who is also part of the Plastic rap and hip hop recording studio. So what we have here is an internal Conti Ransomware gang image obtained using public source based on the gang internal communication, and what we have here is the original Ice Cost album cover, which is very similar to the one produced by the members of the Conti Ransomware gang obtained using OSINT. So what I then did was to process and analyze all of this in the context of establishing a direct connection between these individuals in the Russian-based rap and hip-hop studio. I also found some additional screenshots on several other what appears to be charitable initiatives, what appears to be several other educational initiatives, and I then processed and enriched and offered further information on these individuals directly involved with the Conti Ransomware gang. I also came across to another which courtesy of the Conti Ransomware gang, and most importantly, they were referencing what appears to be another hosting provider, which might need additional research. I sincerely hope that the research and information that provided in this video will be useful to you, and I look forward to keeping in touch with everyone. Thank you.